What if you could press one invisible button and instantly see which parts of your personality women find impossible to resist? No pickup lines, no guesswork. Sounds unreal, right? Before we dig in, tell me this. If you could overhear a woman's very first thought about you, what would you hope it is? Drop your answer below, and to prove you're listening closely today, add the word valor somewhere in that same comment. Most dating advice tells you to memorize tactics. Forget that. Real leverage comes from understanding 9 subtle female vulnerabilities, psychological blind spots that shape attraction far more than looks or money ever will. Once you see them clearly, you won't need gimmicks. You'll respond from calm awareness the way grounded men always have. We're not here to exploit anyone. We're here to lead. Recognize these weaknesses, meet them with steady presence, and you'll build trust where most men trigger uncertainty. Ready to sharpen that edge? Let's break down the top 9 female weaknesses every man needs to know. Starting right now, every woman carries the quiet meter that asks, am I still seen? Do I still matter right now? It's not vanity, it's adaptive wiring from centuries of needing approval and protection within a tribe. When a man recognizes this, he stops brushing off her small bids for attention as neediness and starts treating them as moments to anchor trust. Emotional validation is most obvious in the everyday. She asks how she looks before you head out, circles back to an earlier text to gauge your reaction, or replays a story and pauses for your response. A careless shrug chips away at connection. A steady, genuine acknowledgement reinforces safety. Validation isn't endless praise. It's a precise signal that you're tuned in. Stoic presence means you mirror her feeling without losing your frame. Hear the emotion, name it briefly, then move on. I get why that meeting rattled you. Makes sense. You handled it. Calm tone, consistent eye contact, no over-talking. She feels recognized. You stay grounded. Over-validating, on the other hand, gushing compliments, fishing for her approval in return, flips the polarity and drains attraction. Watch how this plays out on a date. She mentions feeling overlooked at work. The reactive guy offers fixes she didn't request. The stoic guy listens, reflects, and asks one clarifying question. What outcome would feel like a win for you? Suddenly, her frustration has space, and you've positioned yourself as an ally, not a lecturer. That single move banks more emotional credit than 10 random compliments. Targeted validation also means timing. Offer it when she's uncertain or proud, moments where acknowledgement lands deepest. Skip it when she's testing boundaries or venting for attention alone. Silence there forces self-regulation and communicates that your praise isn't on tap. Scarcity gives each affirmation weight. Never confuse validation with surrender. If she escalates a minor issue hoping to rule the interaction, hold your line. I hear you. I won't let us derail over this. Let's revisit after dinner. You validated the feeling but denied the emotional takeover. That balance calms her nervous system more than caving ever could. Practice concise validation until it's muscle memory. A nod, a firm "I see you," a quick summary of what you heard. No unnecessary flourishes. Over time, she stops anxiously checking the mirror of your attention. She trusts that when something matters, you'll register it. Her craving becomes quiet, the bond becomes easy, and you remain the calm center both of you can rely on. Attraction never happens in isolation. Women instinctively cross-reference a man's value with how the world responds to him. Who greets you first when you walk into a room? Do colleagues respect your input or talk over you? Do other women relax around you or recoil? Long before she's conscious of it, her brain is asking, if others trust him, I probably can too. That quick group check kept ancestral women alive. Today it still steers their comfort and curiosity. You feel this in the micro moments. Step into a cafe where the barista knows your order and smiles before you speak. She registers that warmth. Tell a story that ends with friends backing your decision. She notes the alliance. Even online, the tone of comments under your posts leaves a subtle residue. Support signals solidity, drama signals danger. The mistake many men make is trying to manufacture proof. Name-dropping, flashing status, or parading female friends for clout. Counterfeit respect is noisy and always backfires because it smells of performance. Real social proof is quiet, organic, and rarely self-announced. It shows up when others volunteer appreciation for you without your prompting. Stoic leadership, therefore, begins long before you meet her. Cultivate honest reputation, keep your promises, invest in friendships, contribute value without expectation. When you live that way consistently, your environment does the talking, and its testimony weighs more than any line you could deliver on a date. Consider a Friday night gathering. She watches you introduce new guests, notice who's left out, steer conversation without hogging it. She sees men defer to your judgment without resentment and women laugh freely in your presence. In 90 minutes, her subconscious completes a risk assessment. This man occupies a respected position in his tribe, so proximity to him is likely safe and maybe advantageous. Remember the flip side. Negative social proof is equally powerful. Bad-mouthing exes, constant conflict with coworkers, or stories where you're eternally the victim. All plant doubts you can't charm away. When in doubt, let silence cover drama from your past until you've shown enough stability that context adds value, not chaos. Finally, don't chase crowds to boost your standing. A smaller circle of principled allies trumps a stadium of shallow acquaintances. Women don't measure head count, they measure quality of connection. When she sees authentic loyalty surrounding you, her hyper-awareness of social proof flips from a potential weakness into active admiration. Proof that your character attracts allies, not just attention. From childhood stories to modern dating apps, women are taught, overtly and by omission, that a man's presence can vanish without warning. Evolution amplified the lesson. In a small tribu, sudden desertion threatened real survival. Today, the stakes are emotional rather than physical, yet the circuitry is the same. Beneath even confident behavior often sits a watchful question. Will he stay when it's inconvenient or disappear the moment pressure hits? You'll see this fear surface in small calibration checks. She texts, got home safe, and waits for acknowledgement. Plans change and she wants a new date locked in immediately. After an argument, she circles back with, "We're okay, right?" If you dismiss these bids as clingy, you reinforce the very dread she's scanning for. If you shower her with syrupy promises, you sound reactive and untested. The masculine middle path is steady confirmation through action, not excess words. Imagine an evening where work emergencies cancel your dinner. The careless response, a vague apology followed by hours of silence. Her mind fills the gaps with worst-case stories. The Stoic response, a concise call. Project blew up, pulling late hours. Let's move dinner to Friday, same time. You proposed, rescheduled, and recommitted in one breath. The subtext, crisis does not equal abandonment. Consistency beats reassurance speeches. Show up when you say you will, return calls you miss, keep micro-promises like, "I'll text after the meeting." Each fulfilled detail reprograms her nervous system. You're predictable under pressure. Over time, those small proofs do more to calm abandonment fear than any single grand gesture. But steadiness isn't servitude. If her anxiety mutates into surveillance, constant location checks, escalating accusations, a Stoic man sets boundaries without heat. I value openness, but I won't report every hour. Let's talk about what actually builds trust for both of us. You acknowledge the fear, yet refuse to be managed by it. Paradoxically, that firmness often provides the backbone she's looking for. Remember that your own life structure matters. A man rooted in mission, friendships, and self-discipline is naturally harder to lose because he's already committed to himself. She senses that depth. You're choosing her from abundance, not clinging from emptiness. That security radiates without a sales pitch. Conflict is the final exam. When tension rises, many men ghost or stonewall, confirming her deepest suspicion. Stay present. I'm upset, but I'm not leaving this discussion unfinished. Give me an hour to cool off. We'll finish at 8. You don't hide emotion, you regulate timeline. Each conflict you navigate to resolution metabolizes another layer of her fear. Handle abandonment triggers with calm repetition, and they fade into the background. Ignore them, or overindulge them, and they swell. Your job isn't to erase the instinct, but to provide such steady evidence that it retires from active duty. That's how a perceived weakness transforms into lasting loyalty. A bond anchored by your demonstrated reliability rather than fragile reassurances. From Disney plots to TikTok highlight reels, many women grow up on a steady diet of cinematic romance. Grand gestures, flawless chemistry, conflicts resolved in 90 minutes. That stream of fantasy seeds an internal script. When it's right, it should feel magical all the time. Real life, of course, never keeps that pace, but the ideal lingers. The moment everyday routine shows up, some women misread it as lost passion rather than natural stability. You'll notice idealism when she compares your relationship to curated snapshots. They're engaged after a year, shouldn't we be? Or why don't we talk for hours like that couple on Instagram Live? If you scoff, you create distance. If you chase the fantasy with constant theatrics, you exhaust yourself and build a bond on spectacle instead of substance. The masculine Stoic move is to acknowledge the longing behind the question. Desire for depth, excitement, novelty, then ground it in actionable reality. Early phases amplify the illusion because dopamine is high and conflict is low. When that chemical rush settles, she may fear the spark is gone. Rather than scrambling for bigger fireworks, frame the transition in advance. The rush is fun. The next stage is where we build something solid. By naming the shift, you transform an inevitable dip into an expected evolution. Idealism also shows up during conflict. If her story says true love equals effortless harmony, a single argument can feel like a crack in the foundation. Your job isn't to avoid friction. It's to navigate it calmly. Each disagreement you resolve with composure proves love can be durable, not just dramatic. That evidence slowly rewrites the script from perfect equals painless to strong equals resilient. Replace fantasy with rituals that deliver steady connection. A weekly check-in without phones, monthly micro-adventures, unhurried coffee every Saturday. These habits satisfy the craving for intimacy far better than sporadic over-the-top gestures. Occasional surprises are still valuable. They pop precisely because a reliable baseline makes them rare. Guard against contempt for idealism. Her longing for magic isn't foolish. It reflects a desire for significance. Meet it without becoming a performing clown. A well-timed handwritten note, an impromptu detour for sunset, or a genuine compliment delivered in passing keeps romance alive without turning life into a stage play. When she sees you balance steadiness with sparks, her idealism matures into appreciation of real-world love, steady, tested, and still capable of wonder. By guiding that shift, you turn a potential weakness into a shared strength, Proof that lasting intimacy isn't found in fantasies but built through conscious practice and grounded leadership. Hand a neutral event to many women. An unanswered text, a subtle change in tone, plans that slide by a day, and the mind often rushes in to fill the silence with story. It isn't a conscious manipulation. It's an adaptive reflex to anticipate social shifts before they become threats. What starts as a question, "Is everything okay?" can snowball into an elaborate plot in which you are already halfway out the door. Recognizing this reflex lets you respond with anchor-like calm instead of defensive chatter. The spiral usually begins in the gaps. Long silences, vague messages, postponed plans all create empty space. Her brain, wired for pattern recognition, tries to close it with an explanation. The less information she has, the wilder the theory can grow. A reactive man will either lash out, "Stop overthinking," or drown her in rambling reassurances. Both responses enlarge the story. The Stoic response is concise clarity. Acknowledge the gap, give the missing fact, then return to normal rhythm. Timing matters more than volume. A single timely line, "Busy sprint at work, call you after 8, carries 10 times the calming power of a 300-word apology delivered 12 hours late. The goal isn't to feed every worry, but to give just enough data to keep reality ahead of imagination. Think of it as sealing tiny cracks before pressure can build behind them. When you do face a full narrative, "You seem distant all weekend. Are you losing interest?" Resist the urge to litigate every scene she's constructed. Validate the emotion without endorsing the theory. "I get why the change in my tone felt off. I was preoccupied with family stuff, not stepping back from us." Short, factual, delivered in a level voice. Story meets proof. The spiral loses fuel. Structure is a long-term antidote. Predictable check-ins, clear next date plans, follow through on micro-promises shrink the blank spaces where stories form. You're not reporting every move. You're establishing a cadence that makes sudden silence an exception, not a puzzle to solve. Consistency teaches her nervous system that ambiguity with you is rare and short-lived. Still, overthinking isn't solved by your behavior alone. It's also shaped by her self-management. If narrative building turns into habitual interrogation, daily tests, escalating hypotheticals, you set boundaries. Calmly, "I'll always clarify facts, but I won't debate imagined scenarios. Let's focus on what's actually happening." A line like that refuses to be dragged into fiction while still honoring real feelings. Finally, model healthy uncertainty. Share moments when you don't have every answer, plans that are still forming, projects in flux, and show how you hold that unknown without panic. Demonstrating comfort with ambiguity invites her to mirror that steadiness. Over time, she learns that not every gap requires a plot twist. Sometimes it's just a gap. Handle overthinking with measured facts and unwavering tone, and what first looked like a weakness becomes an entry point to deeper trust. You prove that reality with you is calm, knowable, and drama-resistant. Exactly the environment where genuine connection can outgrow imagined crisis. Chaos is the great amplifier. A sudden shift in your schedule, financial turbulence, family emergencies, any crack in the normal rhythm can trigger a woman's instinct to scan for stability. She isn't gauging whether you can make everything perfect. She's gauging whether you stay coherent when the ground moves. Her weakness here is really a survival algorithm. If the man she's with unravels under pressure, she's left to fend for two. You'll see this need surface when headlines turn grim, your job security wavers, or plans fall through last minute. She may request details you normally leave unspoken, ask about next steps more than usual, or track your mood for signs of collapse. Interpreting that as nagging misses the point. She's not hunting for flaws, she's checking that her partner can steer through fog. The reactive male response divides in two directions. Either brittle optimism, everything's fine, stop worrying, or shared panic, where you vent every worst-case scenario and expect her to soothe you. Both approaches spike her anxiety. The Stoic response is calm transparency coupled with an actionable plan. Yes, the project might downsize. I'm updating my resume tonight and calling 2 contacts tomorrow. We'll reassess Friday after I get feedback. Facts plus timeline. No melodrama, no false promises. Notice the difference between reassurance and reliability. Reassurance is verbal and fleeting. Reliability is behavioral and cumulative. If your word-to-action ratio stays tight, appointments kept, follow-ups delivered, sleep and fitness maintained, she doesn't need constant verbal comfort. Your composure becomes breathable proof that uncertainty with you is still safer than predictability with someone else. Boundaries matter too. Security seeking can slip into control, hourly check-ins, location pings, emotional temperature checks disguised as small talk, set the frame without hostility. I understand why you need an update. I'll brief you tonight after calls. Beyond that, trust me to handle the steps. Firm limits show leadership, and leadership calms better than endless availability. Contextualize uncertainty. Share stories, brief, not boastful, of past volatility you navigated. Market crashed in 2020. I pivoted to a new client base in 3 months. Demonstrated resilience reframes current turbulence as repeatable challenge, not impending doom. But keep the focus forward. Present steps, not nostalgia. Finally, reinforce micro-rituals. Weekly date night stays on the calendar even if venue changes. Morning gym sessions remain non-negotiable. These fixed points tell her the ship's routines persist despite rough water. Stability is communicated through rhythm more than rhetoric. When you meet her urgent need for safety with measured facts, visible competence, and steady presence, uncertainty shifts from a threat to a stage where your masculinity proves itself. She relaxes, maybe not because storms disappear, but because she sees you don't. And that, more than any promise, turns a primal vulnerability into unshakable trust. Scroll any social feed and you'll see the algorithm at work. Likes, comments, streaks. Metrics that whisper, you matter if people are looking at you. Many women absorb that message early, long before they start dating. Over time, external attention can fuse with internal value, so much so that silence feels like disapproval and a missed reply feels like rejection. This conditioning isn't vanity. It's a feedback loop that rewards visibility and punishes quiet. Understand the loop and you can engage it without becoming a captive to it or fueling insecurity with indifference. The pattern appears in subtle requests. Did you see my story? Why didn't you react to the photo? It's been hours since you texted. A surface reading says she's fishing for compliments, but underneath she's asking, am I still significant when no one's clapping? The quick male mistake is to either lavish constant praise, teaching her that validation is on tap, or refuse all acknowledgement, which reinforces the fear that she disappears without external spotlight. Stoic calibration is the middle lane. Recognize the need, meet it with sparing precision, and redirect value back to intrinsic markers. If she shows you a photo and asks for feedback, skip the generic "so hot." Instead, that shot shows your confidence. Good framing. You're validating effort and character, not just surface appearance. This subtle shift rewards substance, nudging her self-worth inward without shaming the desire for praise. Space management is crucial. If every lull triggers an attention check, introduce deliberate gaps. Not ghosting, structured intervals that teach her nervous system to ride silence without panic. Follow through when you return. A missed call earns a callback, not an essay. Reliability over frequency retrains her metric from constant buzz to consistent presence. Set boundaries on public approval games. If she posts something purely to spark jealousy, cryptic quotes, bait photos, don't play. Private conversation, yes. Public validation wars, no. Quietly refusing the drama shows leadership and signals that intimacy with you lives off stage. Over time, those boundaries help separate her genuine need for connection from reflexive bids for clicks. Reinforce real-world anchors of worth, skills she's building, discipline she shows, kindness she extends. Celebrate these in context. After she nails a presentation, finishes a workout streak, helps a friend move. Mention specifics. I respect how you organize that project. It shows focus most people lack. Each targeted commendation rewires the dopamine hit from random attention to earned accomplishment. Finally, embody what you preach. If you're addicted to external validation yourself, checking phones, mid-conversation, flexing follower counts, your words ring hollow. Model selective attention. Phone down at dinner, compliments given sparingly but sincerely. Purpose prioritized over performance. She'll feel the difference, mirror it, and learn that significance doesn't evaporate when eyes turn away. Handled this way, her impulse to equate attention with worth transforms from a liability into an avenue for deeper respect. You neither feed an endless need nor starve it, you recalibrate it. And in that recalibration, both of you step out of the algorithm and into a dynamic where presence, not applause, defines value. Many women fall for the future of a man long before they have clear evidence of it. They see drive in his voice, flashes of talent, bits of charisma, and mentally fast forward to a finished, upgraded version of him. In her mind, he's already the disciplined entrepreneur, the attentive father, the emotionally fluent listener. This isn't manipulation, it's hopeful projection, a brain shortcut that bets on trajectory instead of track record. You can spot it when compliments lean heavily on what you could be. Once you focus, you'll crush it. Or if you just settled down, you'd be perfect husband material. Early promises of unwavering support often come wrapped in gentle nudges to get organized or take your goals seriously. It feels flattering, but there's a hidden risk. She's bonding with an imagined outcome. If you complacently soak up the admiration without closing the gap, the day reality diverges from fantasy. Her disappointment will be just as intense as her initial faith. A reactive male response is either to perform, talk big plans, flash half-built dreams, or to rebel against the pressure, labeling her interest as controlling. Both paths feed illusion or conflict. The Stoic response is frank ownership of your present state. I appreciate that belief, but here's where I actually am. Revenues, routines, weaknesses, all of it. You lay the ledger on the table. Clarity replaces projection. Respect replaces guesswork. That transparency must be paired with verifiable movement. A weekly schedule, a fitness log, progress milestones, concrete evidence that potential is turning into performance. Each visible step shrinks the distance between who she hopes you are and who you're becoming. The scoreboard doesn't need fanfare. Consistency speaks louder than romantic optimism. Still, guard your boundaries. Support can quietly shift into management. Unsolicited spreadsheets of your goals, daily check-ins framed as help. A grounded man thanks her enthusiasm but reasserts command. Your confidence means a lot. I'll handle the plan details myself. Autonomy is non-negotiable. Leadership welcomes input, not project supervision. Remember that projection can reverse too. If you're further along than her inner picture, she may push for humble recalibration, unconsciously tugging you back to a scale she can track. Stay polite, stay gracious, and keep building. The right partner cheers real growth even when it outpaces her storyboard. Finally, flip the lens inward. Are there ways you project onto her? Expecting future discipline, future emotional stability, future ambition? Hold both sides accountable. Love the present person, not a concept. When two people meet as they are, flaws audited, goals declared, mutual growth becomes collaboration, not fantasy. By grounding projected potential in daily proof, you transform a dreamy weakness into shared momentum. She learns to admire tangible progress. You solidify trust through action. The relationship shifts from speculative investment to earned equity. Exactly the terrain where a stoic, mission-driven man thrives. Even the most confident woman can feel a jolt of possessiveness when she senses another female's interest in you. It isn't always the blatant flirting that sparks jealousy. It's the micro-signals. An inside joke with a colleague, a lingering glance from a barista, a quick laugh at your remark. Her limbic system tallies these cues before her rational mind can downplay them, whispering, "Your position could be challenged." Understanding this reflex lets you handle it without fanning drama or denying reality. Jealousy is not proof she's unstable, it's proof she values the bond. The mistake many men make is rushing to reassure with lavish praise, "You're the only one for me," or worse, mocking her for feeling threatened. Reassurance can sound hollow if overdone, and ridicule guarantees resentment. The Stoic approach is simple acknowledgement plus visible respect. A steady hand on her lower back when an old friend greets you, a brief nod that shows you noted her discomfort, and a return to normal conversation. The message is clear. I'm aware of you and I'm not swayed. Boundary management matters. Being sociable is attractive. Indulging ambiguous intimacy is not. If you know a particular woman in your circle pushes buttons, inside jokes, lingering touches, dial the behavior back a notch when your partner is present. That isn't weakness, it's leadership. You protect the ecosystem so petty rivalries never get the oxygen to ignite. Transparency after the fact prevents narrative building. If she asks, "Who was that?" give a concise, unembellished answer. "Former co-worker. We catch up now and then." Leave no gaps for imagined intrigue. Over-explaining tries too hard. Under-explaining invites suspicion. Facts, tone calm, eyes steady. Done. Jealousy also spikes online. A like from a certain woman, a comment packed with inside references, screenshots can spiral quickly. Preempt trouble by curating digital boundaries. No late-night DMs with flirt undertones, no cryptic emoji exchanges that read intimate. If you wouldn't do it in front of your partner, delete or dial it down. Quiet digital discipline is modern fidelity in action. Still, don't tiptoe through life fearing every interaction will trigger her alarm. Your mission, friendships, and charisma should not shrink to fit insecurity. Instead, make your intentions and standards evident over time. When she sees you handle attention responsibly, polite, never secretive, her nervous system gradually decouples your social success from personal threat. Finally, reflect the mirror inward. If a little outside interest derails her peace, ask whether you're feeding it. Do you tell stories that highlight past conquests? Do you casually mention admirers to spark reaction? Remove ego games and jealousy loses half its fuel. The rest fades as consistent loyalty overrides isolated sparks of competition. By meeting jealousy with calm presence, clear boundaries, and zero theatrics, You transform a reactive flash into a moment of reinforced security. She learns that rivals don't shake you and attention doesn't sway you. In that certainty, her competitive reflex quiets, allowing admiration to replace anxiety, and the partnership to deepen without the shadow of needless rivalry. A man who understands these 9 vulnerabilities isn't out to manipulate women. He's out to master himself. When you recognize a craving for validation, spot the pull of social proof, or steady her nerves in chaos, you move from reacting to leading. Instead of scrambling for tactics, you offer presence, boundaries, and consistent action, the real currency of masculine influence. And as that steadiness takes root, drama fades, trust deepens, and attraction turns from a spark into a durable current. But insight is worthless without application. So start small. The next time silence tempts her to overthink or a plan shift triggers her fear of abandonment, breathe, clarify, and follow through. Each calm response rewires the dynamic, proving that your word and your frame hold firm under pressure. Stack those moments and you'll watch her weaknesses transform into points of secure connection. Evidence that she chose a man who doesn't flinch. If this breakdown sharpened your edge, even one insight you'll use tonight, head to the comments and write valor. That single word tells me you're not just here to listen, you're here to live it. This is Valoris, and the journey to a stronger, steadier masculine mind continues in the next video.